So hey guys, Thinky Cash here, and today we're going to continue to debunk the heliocentric model. A few days ago I released a video that got a lot of attention, it got a lot of views. And in this video I pointed out that with the heliocentric model, if the Earth spun 360 degrees every 24 hours, that day and night would gradually shift and flip every 6 months as the Earth gets to the other side of the sun. Noon would become nighttime and midnight would become daytime. This is a fact. And the experts don't deny that this phenomenon would happen if the Earth spun 360 degrees every 24 hours. But what they claim is that the Earth spins 361 degrees every 24 hours. And that the Earth only spins 360 degrees in 23 hours, 56 minutes, and 4 seconds. This extra 1 degree of spin every day makes up for the roughly 1 degree of orbit, keeping noon facing the sun at all times, preventing the day-night switch that I explained in my last video from happening. Now this official explanation makes sense, and the logic is all sound, but there's still one gaping hole with this model, and that's the fact that Polaris never moves. Polaris is located over the North Pole every single day of the year, which means the North Pole points to Polaris in December, and the North Pole points to Polaris in June. Every day of the year, the North Pole will point to Polaris. And the major problem with this is the North Pole in June and the North Pole in December are separated by roughly 186 million miles, as they are on opposite sides of the sun. So if the Earth is tilted 23.5 degrees in December, and the Earth is tilted 23.5 degrees in June, and these two poles are separated by 186 million miles, how do they both point to the same star? This is essentially claiming that the North Pole in June, the North Pole in December, and Polaris form a triangle. But triangles can't have two parallel lines. Their explanation for a lack of a stellar parallax with Polaris is that Polaris is really far away. In fact, Polaris is over 2.55 quadrillion miles away. It's so far away that there's absolutely no detectable parallax between the Earth in June and the Earth in December, which is separated by 186 million miles. Everything with this model has been reverse engineered from the truth. The ultimate goal from the beginning was to place the sun at the center of the universe. They want the sun at the center, as they are sun worshippers. Heliocentrism is simply modern day sun worship masquerading as a science. So their goal from the beginning was to put the sun at the center. So how do you do this? Well, the first thing you have to do is you have to make the sun much larger than the Earth. For the Earth to orbit the sun's going to have to be much larger than the Earth. So they made the sun over 1 million times larger than the Earth. But when I stand on Earth and I look at the sun, it looks no bigger than a quarter. So if the sun is over 1 million times larger than the Earth, how come I observe it no bigger than a quarter? So how do you explain this? Oh, well that's because the sun is really far away. So since we had to make the sun really big to place the sun at the center, now we have to make the sun really far away. So let's make the sun 93 million miles away. But now we've dug ourselves into a deep hole, because now we've made the diameter of the Earth's orbit around the sun roughly 186 million miles wide. And Polaris never moves. The North Pole in June is separated from the North Pole in December by roughly 186 million miles, and yet both poles point to Polaris. So how do we account for this? Oh, well, we're just going to have to make Polaris really far away to account for the fact that we see no observable parallax from June to December. So the only way to rationalize away this is to make Polaris over 2.55 quadrillion miles away. But I ask you, if Polaris is over 2.55 quadrillion miles away, how come I can see it? Oh, well, that's because Polaris is really freaking big. Polaris is 46 times the size of the sun, and the sun is over 1 million times the size of the Earth. Every explanation has to be reverse engineered because they started with an ultimate goal of placing the sun at the center. Every other fact that they create is reverse engineered to make this work. It's just like George Orwell said in his book 1984. The stars can be near or distant according as we need them. Do you think it's beyond our mathematicians to create a dual system of astronomy? This is exactly what happened in reality. All these men that we learned about who created the heliocentric model, they had to work collectively over the span of 2,000 years to reverse engineer this model. This model comes from man. This model is built on perfected mathematics that has no relation to reality, no relation to the truth. It's simply a reverse engineered masterpiece. If you want to know the truth about sidereal days and solar days, see my video Flat Earth Luminaries, the sun, moon, and stars explained. I also have a video called Flat Earth Astrology and Creation. Check out these videos. These will explain what we observe. The stars all rotate around us. The Earth is at the center of the universe. The idea that the sun is at the center of the universe, this comes from sun worshippers associated with the Vatican and the Jesuit order. These are sun worshippers who pray to the sun every Sunday, the sun being personified into their false Jesus. People think the church defended geocentricity. That's not true. The whole story you were taught as a child about Galileo versus the church, that was simply a psyop. Check out my video titled Galileo versus the Church to learn the truth about one of the first global psyops. Check out my video titled Quotes from the Men Who Shaped the World. All these brilliant men worked together collectively. It took all their works over 2,000 years to build this model. And if you want to know why they did this, check out my video titled Flat Earth, Why Lie? This is the most important video I've ever made. This is the most important video on my channel. This is a must watch for anybody who wants to know the motive behind the lie. Why tell us we live on a globe if we actually live on a flat earth? It's because a flat earth can't be randomly created through a godless Big Bang. The Big Bang is dependent on the globe. A flat earth proves geocentricity, which proves creation, which proves a creator. They can't have you knowing about the creator. They need you to serve them and not God. No one can serve two masters. So I beg you, check out that video, Flat Earth, Why Lie? It's the most important video I've ever made. So that's all I got for you guys today. I'm going to be making some more videos later in the week. Please give me a thumbs up if you like this video and click subscribe if you want some more.